さて続きやっていくか。犬についていくか。はいよ。開けるよ。利口な犬だ。どこに行こうかな。ここね。おお、びっくりした。いないかと思ってた。ダイヤのオフィスだね。ここに何があんだい。寝室になるのかこれ。ほう、もう思いっきり下に穴開いてるじゃん。ここや。この苗木。
Willie, are you out there?
Kason, what are you doing in there?
York, is that you? Thank God. I can't get this door open. Can you unlock it from your side?
Kason, stand away from the door.
おーい。おーい。そのほっぺたのやつなんだ。
Where's Diane? And what are you doing here?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Well, let's just say I have my reasons, you know. I don't really have to tell you, do I?
Actually, you do. Diane just died a moment ago.
What?
Yeah.
You're not just a key witness now. You're now a suspect. And you need to tell me exactly what you were doing here.
Well, I just came here to talk with Diane. To have a conversation.
And I suppose that kiss mark on your cheek is from your conversation.
This was just a spur-of-the-moment thing.
Which is exactly what killed Diane.
Okay. I came here to be with Diane. You happy now? We've been together before, a couple times. It's one of the reasons why I like coming to this town, see? This time is no different. I bumped into her in a bar in Seattle. I had some holiday coming up. Well, so I just took it and I drove her back here. I have a wife, you know, but we've been separated for a while. We're going through a divorce right now, and I don't want her lawyer finding out. Anyway, how could I kill Diane if I was in a room locked from the outside? 2 hours ago, me and Diane, we were taking it easy, drinking upstairs. We were, you know, enjoying ourselves. Then Nick had to show up. Well, then Diane had a sudden change of heart. She locked me up in here.
鍵をかけてたんだぞ。
I've just been here, waiting for her to come back, of course, but she didn't. I heard footsteps a couple of times, but they just passed by. Well, then I couldn't wait anymore, so I let Willie here out through the window. Then you showed up instead of Diane.
Zach, Diane has become the third victim of our killer.
3人目被害者になっちゃったね。
And nada from questioning Nick.
結局
Nothing. Got no new leads from questioning Nick.
ああ、そうなんだ。
He's taken the death of Diane really badly. In shock, the works. He claims to have liked talking with her about art. But he also had a problem with her views about men. He says that they argued, but not at a level that would lead to a murder. They were about to head out to the bar again together. But while he was waiting for Diane, someone knocked him out cold. He has no idea who it was either. Of course, Kaysen looks like a prime suspect. But that door was locked from the outside. There was no other way in or out of that room. Which means there is no evidence of his involvement at this time. He did say something else. The footsteps he heard outside the room were not heels, but a man's boots. And Nick was wearing boots. But now that Diane's dead, no one can back up Nick's statement. Which is why we have Nick in custody and have to let Kaysen go free. That seemed like the only option, at least for now. One more thing, Zach. George looked terribly depressed. I guess this case is really in. He's feeling responsible for the deaths of Becky and Diane. Take his rules and confidence away from him? I wonder what's left. Well, of course, he'd still have muscle.
そんな皮肉今いる？でもね、俺が気になるのはね、離婚調停中なのになんでこんなことしてるかって話だよ、まったく。いや、まあ、しょうがないっちゃしょうがないのかな。まあ、誰だってこんな美人、まあ、ちょっとね、男にだらしないとはいえ、こんな美人に誘われたらね、大体のおっさん行っちまうよな。はい、セーフしよう。
Zach, let's get back to the hotel. First Anna, then Becky, now Diane. I'm not looking forward to writing this investigation report.
Agent Morgan. York. Do you have a moment?
What is it, George?
There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Do you have any time later?
Can't we just do it here?
If possible, I'd like to go to a bar. Of course, you don't really have to.
A bar? Now that sounds like a good idea. Zach, what do you think? We can go drinking with George, or turn him down and head back to the hotel.
飲みに行こうじゃないか。こういうのはちゃんと話を聞いた方がいいでしょ。
George, that scar on your cheek. Where did you get it?
This? Didn't I tell you? Well, it's not from work. I got it when I was a kid.
A childhood injury. Tree climbing? I used to get a few scrapes myself climbing the big tree in our backyard. I used to climb it a lot. And fall out of it a lot.
This wasn't anything like that, though. It was my mother. She did it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, George.
Don't worry. It's ancient history. The world is flooded with unreasonable violence. The strong overpower the weak, adults over children, men over women, and criminals over their victims.
よく何にも飲んでないじゃん、飲みに来たの。
I have no memories of my father. He left before I knew him. My mother would hit me every time I asked why. And it didn't stop there. If I ate too slow, left my shoes scattered around, TV volume too loud, she found reasons to hit me. Hit me bad. The worst was what she called the tree punishment. She'd whip my back with these thin tree branches like a whip.
Mama, I won't do it again. Ah, that hurts, Mama. Oh, I'm sorry, please. I'm sorry.
Tree punishment was definitely the worst, I tell you. Just hearing those words used to make me shiver and want to pass out. And that's why I didn't want to show you those scars on my back. Every time after the tree punishment, she'd always say the same thing. This is hurting the tree more than it is hurting you. And me, being a naive, dumb kid, I believed her. I went to the woods to apologize to the trees.
Soんな過去があったんだ。
I kept asking myself, why is she hurting me this way? I thought long and hard about it. In the end, I just figured I'm weaker than her. That's why. It's the law of Mother Nature at work. The strong eat the weak.
But now, you have the power to protect the weak.
That's right. Perhaps I should thank my mother for guiding me into this line of work. York. I've been an arrogant fool, haven't I? And if it weren't for me, both Becky and Diane would still be alive. I could have saved them both. You know, it's almost like they died because of me.
You're out of your mind.
I invited you to this bar for a drink. But I guess this bar is my confession chamber, and I wanted you to listen. And to tell you, well, you must already hate me for causing all these problems and not following your orders. York, I'm sorry. I'll follow your orders from now on. You'll have my total cooperation.
George, you've been as cooperative as you can be. You even invited an FBI guy to a bar for drinks. You've done a good job protecting this town.
そうだね。
And the folks here respect you for that. Nobody can blame you for anything.
Thanks. I do feel a little better.
すっごいな、キャロル。
Hey, Carol. Becky is dead. Diane, too. We've got Nick in custody as a suspect.
Nick didn't do it.
I know. Carol, you took a locket from Diane, didn't you? A locket with this mark on it.
I'm busy, gotta go.
すごい歩き方。後ろのピアノ弾いてるやつのクマ、目の下のクマすごくねえか。2本目突入。 やっぱクマだよね。すごいな、クマ。なんだ、不眠症かこの人。うん、よかった。おっと、いいものあった。観察。ただの常連客のようと事件には関係なさそうだと叩く。ジョージぐらいしかいねえの。キャロル。兄さんなら保安官事務所でしょ。犯人でもない肉を見張らされてかわいそうな兄さん。まあ、それはどうだろうね。ああ、ジョージにとりあえず話しとくわ。ムービーだ。
Sorry to keep you waiting, boys.
Hmm?
Sack. Emily is already a goddess of the forest.
何
Let's forget work for a bit and drink a little, shall we?
York? Why is she here?
I just thought the more the merrier. You know, to relax and get loose. Is this a problem?
No, of course not. Pardon me, Emily, but I'm pooped. I think I'll just call it a night.
George, I just got here and you're walking out on me? I was hoping the three of us could have a drink and let out a little steam.
I'm afraid I've already had enough. And I already had a good man-to-man with York. So I'll see you guys.
エミリー素晴らしいじゃないですか。なんとまあ。
I think George likes you, but he's avoiding you all at the same time.
How astute.
There's a reason?
Nothing worth going into. It's a thing of the past.
いい。実にいい。
Okay. He did ask me out when I first came to town. I was still in high school. But I never really considered him my type. And there's the age gap thing, too. I respect him, of course. I wouldn't have taken this job otherwise.
So, did you move to this town alone?
Of course not. I came with my parents.
Tell me about them then.
Sure, why not? My dad dealt in stocks in New York. He was hardly at home when I was a kid, always working. Those pieces of paper were far more important to him than I was. Which is no different now, really. I don't see much of him. My mother? Totally different story. A wonderful person that I still respect.
かなりの
She
仕
was
事
always
人間と見た
kind
父
and
さんは。
understanding. Not only that, but she would always help me find my way. She could be fierce, too, scolding me if I took a wrong step. We had our battles, sure, but all in all, she was a wonderful mother.
Past tense?
Yeah, she's gone now.
あれも。
Cancer, just before I graduated high school. She gave this to me just before she died. I take it with me wherever I go. It's what I treasure most.
I'm sure she's very proud of you.
Hmm. なるほど。でもやっぱドレス姿素晴らしい。
I had a good time tonight. Good night.
いや、送ってきましょうよ。
See you tomorrow.
York.
Yes?
Please, don't lie to us, okay?
I won't. Don't worry. I won't.
Style いいなエミリー。素晴らしいぐらいスタイルがいいっすよ。とりあえずこれホテルに戻んのかな。そうっぽいな。よし、行こうじゃないか。
And they were killed in 8 different states. They arrested all 7 murderers, but there's no connection between them. However,
あれ前回のスポーツカーどこ
let's
行った？
not overlook there was one thing linking the cases together, and that's the red seeds.
I have
Ah,
a hunch. This case here in Greenvale is going to lead us to the truth about those seeds. Don't you think so, Zach?
Well, let's just do what we can do and do our best.
あったあったよかったよかっ
By doing our best, I'm sure we'll get to where we need to go.
たよかったよかった。車はあった。全然よくの話聞いてなかった。ああ、捜査資料まとめてんだ。報告書か。仕事熱心だね、よく。
Zach, let's go over our progress.
ああ、そうだ、来た。
From what Olivia told us, and the sketchbook we found at Becky's house, Nick and Diane became our primary suspects. There were a couple of reasons for this. First, Becky gave the missing locket to Diane. Also, Nick has no alibi for when Anna and Becky were killed. We followed Nick to the art gallery, which led us, unfortunately, to our third victim. The third victim, Diane, was strung up in the entrance hall of the art
むしろ
gallery.
どうやって吊るしたんだろうね、あれね。
Her hands were tied and a knife was sticking out of her chest. However, there was a marked difference from the previous crimes. Do you remember what that was, Zach?
ん？凶器がなかった。犯行の直後だった。
That's right. Diane was still alive. This suggests that very little time had passed since the crime was committed. Which means the criminal was still close by. It was someone near the scene. There are 2 possible candidates. Nick, who was knocked out in the entrance, and one other.
ケイスン。
Zach, who was the other person in the gallery?
いや、ハリーはいねえよ。ケイスンだよ。
That's right. Casey. We followed William, good dog, all the way to him. Cason's statement came out as follows. He and Diane were in a physical relationship.
まあ、あったね。
That was why he visited the gallery. The two were in the middle of such a meeting when Nick showed up. Diane lost her cool and shut Cason up in the basement. Now, what did Cason hear when he was locked up?
ブーツの音。
That's it. The sound of boots passing by. Nick was wearing boots that day. Which means it was likely that Diane met with Nick in her room. Nick said he argued verbally with Diane about her playing around with men, but they eventually decided to go out drinking to make up. However, immediately after that, Nick was attacked by someone in the entrance hall and knocked unconscious.
そうだね。
We saw the rest.
Zach, do you think that Nick is our serial killer?
そう思わない。わからない。でもニックがなんかそこまでやるような感じではないと思う。いやでも最後のジョージ吹き飛ばしたというかね、突き飛ばした時にね、ダイヤやっちゃったからね。まあお前らにしとこう。
Me too. Asha sent in a report too. He found a large volume of red seeds in Diane's stomach.
でしょうね。喋ってないでボロッボロって
This
なんか出たもん。
confirms her as a victim of the raincoat killer. Remaining leads. There's the locket, which is in Carol's possession, the man with the tattooed back, and the upside-down peace sign. There's a lot left to answer. I hope the coffee will give us more guidance tomorrow.
またコーヒーか。
Zach, what did you think about George pouring his heart out? I was surprised. It's the end of a monarchy. And he called me York instead of Agent Morgan.
そうだね。エミリー
What's going on? Do you know what time it is?
I'm
Emily!
sorry. I couldn't sleep, so I was drinking alone.
うん。そう、来てくれたの。
My mother was a very kind woman. She always smiled so brightly. Baked cakes and cookies.
なんで
every
そんな
day.
離れたところで喋ってんの？
She'd say that
Social
I was
distance.
because I spent so much time thinking. My father was always quiet. We never talked much. He was a federal agent, just like me. And he was hardly ever at home. The only words he ever had for me were harsh ones. I had a vivid imagination, and I remember he once said this to me. There are plenty of crazy things in this world. You don't have to go dreaming them up. And it's my job to make sense out of them. One day you'll understand what I'm saying. I found out later that my father was one of the first to ever use criminal profiling to catch bad guys. And so now I'm doing exactly the same job that he did. Like father, like son.
Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
Mind if it's something personal?
Fire away.
Who's Zach?
おっと。まあ疑問だよな。
Zach is a friend of mine.
Oh, so you do have friends.
Yeah. He's my only friend.
What kind of person is he then?
Well, I've never seen his face. But he's always with me, and we discuss everything.
When did you become friends?
A long time ago. Back when I was a child.
なんだなんだあの光景は。
I was 7. I woke up one morning to hear my mother crying in the living room. This wasn't normal, so I headed in to see her. My father was there pointing the gun.
嘘
I was so scared. I closed my eyes, so I don't remember much more. But I do remember the words my father said to me. At times we must purge things from this world because they should not exist, even if it means losing someone that you love. When I came back to my senses, they were both dead. He shot my mother and then killed himself.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Zach's with me. It was around that time that we became friends. I'm here. I'm with you, he said. I'll be here always. We can get through this together. Quite aside from that terrible scene in front of me, that voice seemed to make me calmer. And here we are, working together. getting through things. This is the first time I've ever told anyone about this. I wonder if Zach will get angry.
That's a sad story. But I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I'm sure there was a reason for what your father did.
I know. I think maybe I became an agent to find out why he did what he did.
Oh yeah, York, I forgot to thank you.
Thank me? For what?
You saved my life. If you didn't save me at the gallery, I would have died along with Diane.
No need to thank me for that. I'm pretty useless. I couldn't save Becky. I couldn't save Diane.
What did you just say? Useless? I was never expecting to hear you say that. Huh. There might be a modest guy in you after all.
超ムカつくって言ってたのに。
You're a little slow, aren't you?
Maybe hopeless, but not useless.
Zach, do you think Emily got home safely? Anyway, I think it's more serious of a situation than I thought.
寝ながらタバコ吸って
Do you
る。
remember? Our conversation with Emily. She's really interested in you. I think she's starting to have certain feelings for you. If that's the case, Zach, you and I are rivals. This is a very serious situation indeed. Well, if it comes to that, let it be a fair fight. Agreed?
やっぱヨークはいいね。面白いキャラをしてるよ。
Thomas! Thomas! Let me out of here! Come on, please!
あ、トマスいねえの？
Just for a moment. 1 second. Ain't anything in here, Thomas.
いや、もうすでに気が狂ってるけどね、あんた。
I know you're there. Come on, please! Thomas! Thomas!
XYZ って。
Thomas! 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 Thomas!
うるせえな。トマー、トマー、トマー、うるせえな。なんか同じドレス着た人がいる。何こいつ。は？何？何？は？女王様の衣装だ。は、逆ピースマーク。貞子と戦ってるぜ。最後のなんだあれ。